Here is what's coming up in the third hour today. The federal government has filed in Chicago in the big court case that's gotten attention in the Chicago Tribune and El Paso Times, where it is admitted that the CIA and ATF gave authorization to the Sinaloa drug gang over 5 years to ship huge amounts, tons after tons of pure cocaine into the United States, and they were shipping guns to them. Now, this has always been going on, but this guy got busted by the Mexican government and then extradited to the United States, and he claimed all of this, and it began to come out in documents a few months ago. Now, new documents in a motion filed Friday, September 9th, U.S. prosecutors did invoke national security and are saying, yes, it's true, but we still want to send him to prison, basically. This is big news. I'll be covering it with a special report tonight, 7 o'clock, InfoWars Nightly News at InfoWarsNews.com, and, of course, PrisonPlanet.tv. But I'm going to get more into this in the third hour today. See, Fast and Furious is not just guns into Mexico. It's guns into Honduras. It's guns into Nicaragua, El Salvador. It is guns into all of Latin America where cocaine is grown and where other drugs are imported and smuggled into the U.S. It is guns to gangs. As I told you, people were asking me, how do you know it was being shipped into Chicago? We didn't see any articles about that. It was in the federal filings months ago. Now it was in mainstream news last week. Guns into Indiana, into Chicago. All these reporters have got to do is go read. And I'll just quickly at night when I've got some time pull up the latest filings that are posted on these different narco news sites with writers like Bill Conroy. Well, I want to get on the show, by the way, who are going over this. All this stuff is posted in public view on the federal websites and then reposted at the Narcosphere and other great websites out there. This is public. You know, people always say, well, the government couldn't get away with drug dealing. They would get caught. They do get caught. I mean, it came out in congressional hearings in the 70s that they, in thousands of dead troops, showed pure heroin into the inside of their bodies and would unzip them once they got here and take the goodies out. I mean, it's on record in the 1997 hearings in Congress that they admitted that, yeah, for a decade the government shipped cocaine into L.A., gave the crack cocaine formula to the crack dealers. I mean, I've interviewed Ricky Ross. He was making $30 million a day some days. He was just a regional dealer for the CIA. Gary Webb found out about it, wrote about it, won a Pulitzer Prize. They just went and killed him. Shot him twice in the back of the head. The police came out and said, oh, that's normal. Even though Gary said people are breaking in my house, he had to move because of it. He caught guys, special forces types, jumping off the roof and climbing down water drains. He described them like cats. You pull up and there's special forces types coming down your deal that have broken in your house. You warn everybody, hey, I'm getting threats. They kill you. And it's like, oh, no, nothing happened to him. This is how this stuff works. And they get you in the Army, and if you're a good guy, you end up in supply or you end up guarding roads somewhere. But if you play ball, you end up being a millionaire government murder technician or drug dealer or pilot. That's how all this works. I mean, I grew up with family who'd been Army officers who would talk about this stuff. And by the way, my family's not special. It's like saying I grew up with family that drove 18-wheelers. This is a giant $500 billion a year industry. Your local crackhead is not running it. The big mega banks that run this country run the drugs. They made them illegal in the 30s so they could jack up the price and send hit teams to kill their competition. All right, I said I'd cover it in the third hour. It's time to stop being naive. I'm risking my life to bring you this information because they're using this stuff to destroy our country, and they also control the terrorist. The same narco-terrorist banks control the terrorist and use them to attack the public or to take the blame for attacks on the public to set up a police state over you and your family. I want to warn police and military that have gone along with this evil. You cannot make a deal with this level of evil. You've got to choose a side. All right, we're going to come back with the economy. It is those of you out there who have PrisonPlanet.tv memberships. You notice we've added the special reports section. We've added the live nightly news, 7 o'clock every evening. It's live some nights it's taped. We have added the rant section, and we're adding a whole bunch of other sections and systems, and we're listening to your feedback and adding what you ask for, if we can, to PrisonPlanet.tv. 15 cents a day, $5.95 a month, or get a yearly membership and get 3 months free. You are truly supporting hardcore alternative media that is the tip of the spear in the fight against the globalist. We're risking our names, our treasure, our families, our bodies in this fight. Please join us in the info war today, PrisonPlanet.tv, and join us every night, 7 o'clock. Record the show, upload it to your friends and family, save it. We're going to be adding, there's easy ways to download it and save it right now. But we're going to make it even easier and more functions, more ways to do it so you can share it with people. PrisonPlanet.tv. I should add in closing, 6 people can log in with the same username and passcode simultaneously. Obviously, though, don't create a username and passcode that you've got for your own personal stuff that you're going to give friends and family. Create a new one. If you're already a PrisonPlanet.tv member, there's an easy way. Just click there on the live stream. It says change your passcode here to something simple, and then send it to a few friends and family and tell them you can't share this, obviously, or then too many people will log in with the passcode, and then sometimes if more than 6 try to log on, it'll block you out for that period. And again, we'd have it where it was all free, but I've got to finance reporters, cameras, the rent, the bandwidth, the equipment, everything. And we are gearing up as promised and really sacrificing time and energy. But I don't need to be thanked for that. What do you expect me to do? I mean, I have always looked for other leaders. I just want to be a soldier. I want to be a captain in this fight, but not a general. In fact, 5, 6 years ago, I liked only having 4 or 5 people working with me. I liked being small. I wanted to just, grow and put ideas out there. But then I realized people were demanding that we grow, demanding we do more, demanding I be more of a leader. And then through attacks and other things that have happened over the years, I realized instead of just, in a way, it was subconscious fear. Fear of responsibility, fear of not wanting to be in a leadership position, fear of if I get too big, they'll come after me. I've been under the radar so far, and I had to consciously scan that fear in my brain and then eradicate it and fully commit. That means I don't get to bounce my little daughter on my knee as much. That means I don't get to go fishing but a couple times a year, never get to go hunting. That means I don't get to go to national parks like I like to. That means I've got to be up here till midnight many nights. That means I've got to be working 7 days a week. But you know what? We're in an absolute crisis and a war, and there is no future for my children if I don't do this, and so that's why I've committed. We're not some big corporation, ladies and gentlemen. We're 34 or 35 souls here and growing. We've been able to do this because you have supported us. So go to Infowars.com. Buy the high-quality stainless steel water filter bottles that do 100 gallons of even swamp water. Buy the Ron Paul T-shirts. Buy the camouflage Infowars.com hats. Buy the books. Buy the videos. Do it today and know that you are supercharging our operation and allowing us to be strong and robust in the face of the globalist, allowing us to continue to build and have moderate reserves so we can continue to operate even if a full, total collapse comes in. We are doing our best. We are doing our best. I'm even trying to put in emergency communication systems. I'm even trying to build out a mobile InfoWars Falcon RV so we can send people out on the ground. And I know the TSA is shutting down air travel. Now they're going to be shutting down with checkpoints on the ground, arresting you when you come through key areas. It's already begun in New York as a beta test. But as the lockdown happens, I've said I'm going down with the ship. I'm going down with the ship. I believe that the fight is still viable and we can win this thing. There's an article out today that Ron Paul has doubled his support in an index of polls in just the last 2 weeks. He's doubled his support. He is a top-tier candidate. If they weren't saying he couldn't win, he'd be #1 undisputed right now. He's a major contender. I could have been a contender. Well, he is a contender, a major contender. But if you get into a fight and don't believe you can't win, you're going to lose. The key to a fight is knowing you've got the initiative and not thinking about who's going to win. Start swinging. That's who wins the fight. The person that doesn't think about winning the fight. The person that thinks about stomping time. That's what happens. It's about turning it loose. It's about opening up a can. And you know what I'm talking about out there. It's about committing, and that's the end of it. Whatever's happening, it's clobbering time. And if they end up stealing the election, it's like, oh, the COINTELPRO's like, well, you say there's election fraud. Why would you promote it? Because we'll prove election fraud by showing it. You don't prove where the enemy is without engaging them. You don't get stronger without fighting them. You don't put ideas out when you say, oh, it's rigged, I'm not taking the field. Let them put him in there with one man against 3 other gladiators. If they destroy him, it'll be an example to others, not of cowardice, but of strength. The truth is, people don't cower when they see a martyr politically destroyed. They get angry. Somehow they've got a mind trick going to have everybody scared of fake terrorism and cowering under their tables from something statistically, that's extremely rare. But shark bite's extremely rare, and most people won't go into the water past their necks at the beach because they're scared. There might be 5 shark deaths a year, globally on average. Pull it up. Some years there's 3. There's been as many as 12. So what? A shark bites your foot. Sometimes that happens. That happens to hundreds of people. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. But you won't even go in the water because of the shark. And a lot of you won't even get politically involved because you know there's a tyranny. And that's a point I was thinking about this morning that I've talked about before, but not enough. And I'm going to say this, mention a few news items that are coming up, and then go to your calls. When the globalists staged 9/11, they did it in a very transparent way where governments, intelligence agencies, and corporations would know that it was an inside job. So for the general public, it's a dumbing down and acceptance of the police state. But for scientists and academics and others, they know what's going on. And so it was a message to the world. Yes, there's been a hard coup in America by the ruthless military-industrial complex controlled by the big mega banks. Yes, this has happened, and the whole world better do what we say. And you noticed Russia, China, everybody just rolled over and started groveling, going, wow, you just did that? You are bold. You think you're going to get away with blowing up all those towers and all of that and say guys in a cave did it? I mean, it scared the rest of the world. The arrogance, the bravado, the hubris, the chutzpah, the aplomb, whatever term you want to use to describe it, the recklessness, the crazed nature. See, there were dual messages there. The globalists are masters of that. And that's why there's these threats put out by CFR members like Hart that say, we staged terror attacks, Iran, do what we say. I mean, he put a public letter out saying, we staged Gulf of Tonkin, we staged the USS, the sinking of the Maine. Don't play games with us. Cheney, give us a bigger defense budget or nukes will to kill you. Rumsfeld this weekend, don't cut the defense budget or Al-Qaeda will hit you. Don't try to abolish the Federal Reserve or the anti-Federal Reserve people are going to blow up federal buildings. We're going to have to arrest all of you. It is 100% in your face. And when they even say it on TV, it's like a gangster going, you do what I say or I'm going to kill your whole family. You understand me and you know I mean it. They're communicating to people that are thinkers. Now, they think you're going to roll over. At a certain point, you just got to go, I'm done. Do whatever you're going to do. I'm coming after you. Because these people are going to wreck our society, wreck our world. I'm not worried about Alex Jones. This type of arrogant gangsterism. At the end of the day, I'm not even worried about my own family. You have to commit to this or they've got that power over you. You've got to fully all in and say, basically consider yourself and your whole family is already gone. That's the only way you get any type of protection. And it's not just protection from the globalists knowing you're committed, that you care about your family so much you're willing to lose them because the human family is going to be lost if we don't. These reckless globalists and their attitude will destroy us. They're insane, delusions of grandeur, their delusional mania